first term in college, I wanted to have an adventure and do something on my own. The first few days were pretty fun, orientation, etc. And I was given an opportunity at orientation to see an advisor for classes. I decided that I didn't need to because I figured I was 18 and knew everything that I needed to know at that point. And so I ended up advising myself into some classes that didn't make a lot of sense at the time, including one that was called Basic Computers. 30 plus years ago, I didn't know a lot about computers, and so I thought I would take a basic class in computers, only to get into the class past the drop date to find out it was a programming class and they were teaching us basic language. This was a huge mistake, as I didn't even really know how to turn on a computer or just type a document at that point. My name is Cheri Kendrick. I'm a communication instructor here at Blue Mountain Community College. So a couple of things I would have done differently, especially my first year of college. Number one, I would have seen an academic advisor. I just think it would have been really smart to talk to someone about which classes I should take in order to earn a degree that I was interested in, and just what might work out with my current skill set. The second thing that I would have done early on, so first, second year of college, is to reach out to people in the community and try to find people who were currently doing jobs that I was even remotely interested in. Because at that point, I didn't really have a good idea about what a lot of people did in their jobs. I had had some part-time jobs as in the summer and as a college student, but actually talking to people or doing some job shadowing, certainly an internship would have been nice, would have been helpful to just make me, or help me make good choices. The first job I ever had was at the Ag Experiment Station that's located outside of Pendleton. I was hired on to work during the summer. I think I was 15 years old. The job was, I thought it was going to be very exciting. I was working with scientists from Oregon State University. As it turned out, it was a dirty, dusty, hot job. I spent walking behind a combine all summer, collecting wheat heads in a bag for the bulk of the time. But it definitely it was a fun job in that I worked with some friends of mine. I learned what it was to work a full 8 or 9 or 10-hour day in the hot sun, outdoors. And it made me realize that I probably didn't want to do that work for the rest of my life. So it probably encouraged me to look at other options for career choices as I was going through school. I graduated from Pendleton High School more than 30 years ago, and I went away to college as far away as I could go. So I went to a school in New York. Eventually, I ended up transferring and graduating from Oregon State University twice, a bachelor's and a master's degree, and then I went on to law school. I practiced law for several years in the Willamette Valley, and then my husband and I decided to move back home to Pendleton, and I started working here at Blue Mountain as a teacher. The one thing that I hope students experience when they're here at Blue Mountain Community College is to gain more confidence in their skills, both their academic skills and then also in their just communication skills, so they can interact with other adults, other people in the community, and also to help them as they're getting jobs and in their careers. So the biggest expectation I have for students here at BMCC is that students come to class, whether it's coming into an online class or a class here on campus, with a commitment to be engaged and be present when they're doing the work, and also to just really get the work done. Do it fully, ask questions, and complete the work to the best of their abilities. So that's really my biggest expectation for students. So I often ask students the question about what they think has been the biggest difference for them going from their senior year of high school to their freshman year of college. And the number one answer students tell me is that at this point in their education, they are fully responsible for what happens. And they don't have their parents looking at their online grades at this point. They don't have teachers who are catching them in the hallway in the same way. And there aren't as many do-overs during the term if they forget to do something, or if they just don't do good work the first time around. So a lot of students tell me that first term, fall term for most students, just takes 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 weeks even to figure out that they are fully responsible for their own education and making sure that they get the work done. For me, the coolest thing about working at BMCC is going out into the community and seeing students. So whether it's during the term and I go to a local coffee shop and the student is the barista and we have a small chat about maybe what's going on in class that term, or even years afterward, going into a bank and seeing the person who's the loan officer and they were a former student, or going to a local medical clinic and the nurse there that day is someone who was in a class. So living in a small community where I run into my students and I run into former students is the coolest thing about working at BMCC.